No human involvement necessary. They're never missing a call, never missing an opportunity. It is always something that's on for them 24/7, and it's affordable. And that's what the promise of AI is to do a replacement potentially of a human or missed opportunities and make it effectively affordable to leverage and utilize.
Welcome to Season 10 of CX in the Wild. 10 seasons of conversations with the visionaries who are reshaping the world, one experience at a time. This season, we go further into the minds of those who challenge the status quo and reimagine what's possible. And now, the adventure continues.
All right, welcome back to CX in the Wild, fourth maybe, podcast. It's all a blur here in Vegas. And I'm happy to be here today with John. John and I have had a podcast before. I'm sure you, if you'd like to go back and watch it, where we're talking about the innovations that are shaping the call center industry. John's from RingCentral. I found a few nuggets in that last podcast that were epiphanies for me, and I appreciated it. So we're just happened to be here in Vegas. So I just thought, why don't we get John in here to talk, and hopefully I'll get a couple more epiphanies selfishly. But John, as you know, I always like to start out with sharing with the audience who you are and what's keeping you busy these days.
Yeah, no, thanks, Dennis. I really appreciate being back. I had a great time with you. Was that December that we did the last one?
Yeah.
Wow, a whole quarter ago, a little more than. And that was exciting. And I couldn't give you guys a lot of details then, so today we can talk more. But John Finch, been at RingCentral for the last year and a half. I'm a boomerang. I was here at RingCentral from 2017 to 2021, went off and went to a couple other organizations and found myself back as we entered into this AI, generative AI and agentic AI phase of our efforts in CX.
Agentic, LMLM, LPQRST. There's so much AI stuff going on. And there are more and more and more and more people saying AI.
Wow.
I mean, I want to Google it. I wonder if somebody's already named their child artificial intelligence or something. There's so much coming in. And I think one of the proof points or key indicators of whether a company is really legitimately making progress in AI is their ability to deliver innovation in the context now. I mean, I think the easy way to say that is the company or person, are they delivering it right now, or are they talking about what they can do with it? And you're rolling out products. So you are delivering things. I think if I'm being honest with the audience, you're probably finding out a lot of your assumptions were wrong or making a lot of mistakes on the way before you go to market. But you have to go through that iterative cycle to get to market, and you're actually deploying now. And how's it going? Let's recap. What was on the horizon for deployment and where are we at from the last podcast?
The newest thing that we couldn't talk about that I was mentioning as was something that was coming in first quarter, we announced a product called AI Receptionist. It's codename or nicknamed AIR, AI Receptionist. And what it is it's the foray into agentic AI. It is built for small to medium-sized organizations. It is an agent that will take calls for your business and be able to provide information on the business and be able to schedule appointments and triage connections that typically were missed by small to medium-sized businesses. So it's tied in basically to the phone system. Think of it as the next generation IVR for businesses on the phone system, but really being able to actually transact, to schedule an appointment, to give information about insurance that is taken by a specific dental office. And it doesn't require anybody from IT or anybody of any technical nature to set it up. It's completely intuitive. It's all web-based. You can upload documents. You can connect to your website. And that agent will search for the information that's appropriate to respond to the individual who contacts the business and give them the appropriate information and schedule the appointment for them. No human involvement necessary. It is one where pre-launch, we talked to focus groups about their intent to use the product and if they liked it. And a lot of people were like, I don't even know how many calls I miss. I just check voicemails the next day and spend half my day responding to those voicemails and then continue with the current day's business. It's a waste of my time. I'd rather have it done and transacted without me even knowing it's happening. And these businesses are now deploying it and seeing that value. They're never missing a call. They're never missing an opportunity. It is always something that's on for them 24/7, and it's affordable. It's affordable for any size business. And that's what the promise of AI is to do a replacement potentially of a human or missed opportunities and make it effectively affordable to leverage and utilize.
Wow. I love you guys, but I will say, I don't really see it as a replacement of a human, because the little twist you put in there is what you did was you created a solution in the market that steps a little further out and wider.
Yeah.
So I don't really see, you didn't say it was your main agents and all of that. You're really talking about a whole new, you're opening up customer care to like a wider range of buyers. And what I know, being a RingCentral customer myself, what I've always liked is the ability to customize the platform for my budget. Because I have needs that sometimes my clients, they're more active or less active, and being able to do that. So be able to turn on this new piece. Are you at liberty to say, when you say it's affordable, how much it is?
It starts at $29. It's per minute, and that bundle gives you 100 minutes to start. And we have different permutations of what's offered in price ranges. So we're sensitive to the fact that companies that have never used a technology like this before may not know how many minutes they're using.
That's right.
So we're effectively providing it. It's still early beta.
Yeah.
So customers that are signing up today, and I encourage anyone to do that, because you're getting in at the ground level, and we're providing it for free for 1 month, or up to 100 minutes of use. And we're working with the customers to gather feedback, ensure they're not going over, and understanding, to your point, about the pitfalls before we make this generally available.
Exactly. I love your style of, I don't even know if style is the right word. It's just, you know what? You're just a mature company in this space. You have good process, and you have sort of the right amount of momentum and inertia and resources to really take a step forward in the market.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about next?
True agentic AI to the next level.
Can you just, come on. I've heard this word agentic. What the heck does agentic even mean? Could you just tell me what it means? Because I don't know, and I think I've heard some versions of it, but what is it?
Basically, think of it as the ability to have multiple agents with specific capabilities or skills be able to interact with a human. So in the customer service environment, think of it as the organization, the brand, will create an agentic AI agent that will be interacted with digitally or via voice to any customer that contacts them. They'll choose a voice, a tone, a personality of that agent that best represents their brand to be able to be the outward-facing agent of the company to any customer that's calling in. Now, behind the scenes, that agent doesn't have the intelligence that it's going to need to gather. It doesn't understand what the inventory is in making a purchase in a retail organization, or the tracking of an order, or a refund. All of those sort of levels of detail which require interactions with back office systems and even a CRM. And what you have then is you have a multitude of agents that are specific for certain roles. So that first agent I was talking about that's going to interface and represent the brand with a very chipper, happy tone that represents XYZ retail organization will be interfacing with you when you transact. And that agent will interface with the shipping expert agent, will interface with the customer record agent, will interface with the billing system agent. And all of those agents underneath that agent, she will then, I'm assuming it's a she, will ask the question of these agents based on what the question is of the customer to get the information and serve it up instantaneously.
Okay.
So you're building a triage of these agents that are speaking to each other to gather information, to provide information and transact.
Let me ask you this. Is it fair to say, for whatever reason, don't judge me, it was my first love, ChatGPT. So I use ChatGPT
Yes.
for, I don't think I can make any decision or thought anymore without using GPT.
I'm the same.
But GPT has its limitations. And so what I have been doing is my most recent behavior is I've actually had GPT start writing prompts for, like, I might have 4 different GPT windows open because I recognize the limit of GPT's sort of cognitive capability.
Yeah.
So I might break up the work I'm doing into 4 different chats. And then I have one chat that's writing prompts based on what I'm thinking in here. And I say, can you write a prompt that will get this thing to do that? And then I have this one write a prompt. But then I might have this one write. Then what I do is I save all that down in a Word document, bring it back in, and I say, okay, well, can you write a prompt that does this? But then I say, can you write a prompt for Claude? Because it has more. Can you leverage that? Because I want this out of Claude, but can you write a prompt so I'm not wasting all of our time? And the ARs are like, yeah, sure. So tell Claude this is what you want and remind it this is about you. And is that in like a layman's way what's happening?
It sort of is, yes. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually provide the entire
Data
design,
set,
build, and operate sort of flow of what specifically needs to happen with agentic AI for our customers. So to solve customer service issues and building an agentic AI, like an IVA, right, that I sort of described, and that's sort of the old term, but we still use it because it connects the dots. That interactive virtual agent will then be built based on design structure, and it will have access to the information necessary for these agents to access, all of this information, and then it will query the LLM that we integrate with, right? So we're using a multitude of them, but in our RingSense AI, we're bringing all this information together to effectively supply the answers, right? So you have a knowledge base that's pulling information in. You're interacting with these external systems that make these expertise, but we'll go through the development process with the customer, but it's this easy. You're not even writing code like you're describing what you're doing with OpenAI. You're actually just writing, build me an agent for IT. And then the system, based on the studio that we have in the design and build phase, will enable the interactions we've already set up to create that agent for the business. And then you can create all these independent agents through natural language inquiries, and then you can actually go back and build them. And so really, we're not gravitating away from building agents that don't specifically help for customer service and for business communications, right? We're not everything for everybody. We are specific for customer service mostly, and we're going to be specific for how employees interact with customers and each other to build products and services inside the organization. So these agents are built to help there. And even think of like AI agents for IT management internally, or HR agents. So all of these things can be built. And then to that fact, multiple LLMs can be used. So right now we have OpenAI relationship. We have other relationships. There could be Anthropic. There could be others, right? Claude. So at the end of the day, whatever LLM the business wants us to use, we also have the ability to use those large language models. And the inability for these to not hallucinate and be on task, fit to purpose, is what we have built into the infrastructure of this technology. So it's only solving the problem of the agents for the business that it's meant to do. You can't book a car reservation if you're calling a dental practice, right? It's not going to work.
Yeah. I think I'm following along. You are, first of all, there's no better way, in my opinion, to give an inventory list to an AI and say, just curious, what would be the best ways to look at all this inventory data? And can we make an agent to do that?
Yes.
That's the smartest way to tackle that.
Yes.
And so by going through this step of let's call it ecosystem intelligence, what you're doing is you're saying you have one model that contains ecosystem intelligence, but its ability to connect there's a lot of factors in the logic there, but it becomes like a generalized ecosystem intelligence. And that generalized ecosystem intelligence is smart enough to create a lane on inventory that leverages a holistic sense of the business to create known, if you have voice of the customer, known requests and process at scale with a gazillionth X reduction in time. And what the output is an automatic standardization. And that process can be completed against any line of data. And your studio provides humans the ability, or consultants, to come in, or maybe you have success managers, to essentially organize their pantry of data so they can cook better.
Yeah. Yep. And it's going to learn and get better over time. So as it communicates and interacts and dips into that information, it will improve or allow the human to make the decision if they should auto-improve it or if the human should hit yes or no, right? So that optimization will continue throughout the process. And we're not letting the AI do it by itself. We're making sure the human's involved in that decision-making because that could throw the whole thing off. And again, baby steps, let's crawl, walk, run with this. But ultimately, it's about, ensuring that the information's correct, keeping the human in the process, and then driving results, right?
Yes to everything you said. You know what it makes me, because I'm such a weirdo.
You're not.
I wish, and I know this is Orwellian as it gets, but if I could use the time stone and go back in time, and even if full disclosure, full transparency, I went to an office and I was like, look, I came from the future to come back time. If you guys all agree and it's cool, I'd like to just put up microphones over the entire office so that I can hear all the side conversations. Yes. And I just want to record this for like 5 years. And then I'm going to use it AI model. And your business, when you get there, I'll give it to you. That's like the exchange.
Yeah.
But the benefit is you would suddenly have, if you listened by the water cooler, all that, you would have the number of times they said, Betty is the only one who has that form. Or Stephanie, remember Stephanie Upstreet's that one spreadsheet that she sends into Amazon that has ASINs or something in it. And then you would have all of that. And then you could immediately say, here's how, turns out we need everything Stephanie knows. We need that like in a folder somewhere.
Yeah.
What you're doing is sort of an absence of that. You're coming in here and you're listening to this echo from the voices of the customers to discern what inventory experiences are most important. And then you're making the workflows and the engagements better.
Think about it even more than that. You're absolutely right. So think about it this way, and it's not Orwellian, it's true. So every conversation that's happening, if you're using RingCentral, is being transcribed.
Yeah.
And that amasses the largest amount of data that you can imagine. So you don't need to put microphones in the office. I think that would help. But you're getting information when people are communicating on RingCentral, employee to employee to customer prospect, employee to partner, right, through the phone system. You're also getting that with RingCX, which is the contact center product, as you're communicating with customers, right? You're having those interactions when agents are talking to them. You gather all this data, then our RingSense technology is actually taking that and summarizing it, right? That can be used to amass the information for mapping to the information on what's in inventory. What are customers saying? What are customers like? I don't like this shirt. I want to return it because it's cheap. I want something more like Hermes shirt, right? Or, then the organization can pull conversational intelligence on top of that, pull it down and create a dashboard and understand what are people buying? What products are they mentioning? How does that map to what we see transactionally happening, to what's being returned, to what our buyers have in inventory that they're going to have for the following seasons? And how can we make better decisions? So holistically, the AI is not only providing information to the customer or making those interactions better, we're gathering all this voice intelligence and it's up across 20 different channels. So I say voice because voice is the hardest because it's automatically transcribed. Everything that's digital is already transcribed, right? Because it's written. But at the same time, all that information comes in and helps with the improvements. It helps with the transactions. It helps those agentic agents do better and learn more. And they're amassing this and taking the data from the inventory, taking the data from the CRM and mapping it together and providing an outlook that can be used to run reports to make business intelligence decisions, right?
You want to know, you're probably already thinking about this because you're so much smarter at this than me. But yes to everything you've said. But if you had, for instance, a Zoom integration and you could get the transcriptions from the internal meetings and cross-reference those,
yep,
you'd be you'd be scary accurate.
Well, think about this. I mean, at some point, Zoom will have agentic agents as well. And, the ability to have agents talk to other agents of different technologies should naturally be there.
It's on the horizon.
Yeah. And think about APIs and SDKs. That's who you're going to pull. We're going to pull stuff from CDPs, they call them, customer data records, right? That's CRM. We're going to pull information, push information. We're not going to push all our information there and have Salesforce be the smartest, but we're going to have interfaces with Salesforce and their agentic AI infrastructure to do things even outside the CRM. So if you're building agents in Agentforce, you can leverage RingCentral agents and Agentforce agents to transact and do different things across the organization. Sure. So these agents start to talk to each other too, outside of the actual technology stack.
It
blows your mind at some point, doesn't it?
It inspires me talking to you as always, and it reminds me of. Are you familiar with Alan Watts, the philosopher guy? Yeah. I got exposed to him through some study music, EDM beats that play his stuff, and then I got into him. But there's this it's in one of my playlists. I think it's for some reason, I don't know how it got in my gym playlist, but it is. But for some reason, it's been really resonating with me, what he said. And he said a lot of cool, trendy things that the kids love. But he talks about the problem with thinking. Thinking in and of itself is a good student, but a bad teacher. And that by constantly thinking about things and trying to solve problems and the logic that's involved and the continuous use of this logic. And he sums it up by saying to the effect of, in the pursuit of science and understanding, we have somehow divorced ourselves, separated ourselves from the real world. And what you're talking about is interesting on that note, because you're really talking about these agents and these administratives, all of this thinking that's always taking up all of our time. And now it's being used at such a greater scale that I can see us if this thing were to play out, we could actually go back to like making real world objects and spending time doing things outside in nature that are economically like there could be entirely new businesses that are like, we have a rock collecting business and people love to do it out here all over the world. Rock collecting nationwide is booming because people go outside and do stuff now.
I mean, I think I think you're right. I mean, I think he's right too. I mean, look, I love to develop products. I love to bring stuff to market. It's this idea and concept of, working hard and you're creating something and you launch it and you have success and it's built to solve a problem. Will we solve every single problem? No. Do we have to work a lot? Yes. Do Americans work a lot more than others across the world? Probably, right? In many ways, you start to think about what's the quality of life, right? And really, what can an agentic AI set of capabilities across many things that we have to spend so much time in an office working do for us in our lives, where we don't get to spend the time with family. We don't get to spend the time with nature. We don't get to dance and have a good time listening to EDM with our friends and whomever, right? So these things are missed opportunities because we're working all the time. Can that free us up for more time to live life? Possibly. And that's sort of the philosophical way I sort of think of this, right? To make life better for us, for humans. And at the end of the day, when we're solving this, the initial intent was like, well, you can cut costs and get rid of people. And there are elements of that, right? We do that inside of our business we have less marketers because we use all these agentic AI tools, right? Or generative AI tools, I should say, that are helping us to process stuff, write stuff, do things more quickly, easily. I never start a document without going to OpenAI, right? Or Claude. Just sounds like you too. And so even ideas and thinking that I'm doing on there, if I have no one to speak to and whiteboard, I'll whiteboard and sound off with, with AI. So at the end of the day, it's helping, it's improving life, and I see it that way. It shouldn't replace us. It should help. And there's always this philosophy of assisting and augmenting and sort of taking away workflows where people aren't necessary, right? Answering a phone call for an agent to reset a password and leaving a customer in queue for 15 minutes while they wait to reset a password should be something that is so easy to do. We have, bio, authentication and all of these things. These technologies are there. We just have to make it readily available and easy for people. I mean, I sat on the phone to do, I don't even remember what it was. It was a very simple transaction, but I sat on the phone with this said brand early this week for half an hour. It should take me 5 minutes to do that. And if they had a agentic AI solution, an IVA even, I could have done that, right? So that's how I kind of see it. I see it freeing us up to do other things and create other things, to your point, to have conversations, to philosophize, to do some of the things that we as a humanity used to do. We're involved into working all the time.
Or who cares what it is, as long as it's not pushing paper all day long that we didn't need to push.
Right.
And the accuracy goes up. I think all this, it's always wonderful. I know that you're busy. I think they found your CX Hall of Fame award.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that.
This is the last year that we are giving out these CX Hall of Fame awards based on merit and conversations we've had. So the backstory to these awards are so many people were being recognized for the wrong reasons. Like they were essentially like keyword stuffing. And there was a gentleman, Alex Mead, and I got into a conversation. We said, why aren't we recognizing people who are actually doing the work, who are not self-promoters, who don't have time because they're actually working to get recognized? And so we agreed on that. And about 3 years ago, we started doing that.
Nice.
And you're in the last generation of them that's getting them. Hey,
thank you.
While I have that,
that's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So you're essentially an original inductee into the first the first 3 years of CX Hall of Fame. And I think why that's important is while we think it's good to recognize people who we value, and the podcast was really one of our ways that we vetted people to make sure that they were warranted and give them exposure. But starting this year, our teams are rolling out international customer experience standardization from the front lines all the way to the C-suite. And we have the support of some governments around the world to set a standard that unifies the economies and the practices of CX.
Wow, that's great.
And so going forward, the CX Hall of Fame will not be a pay-to-play. It's the next evolution of now anyone who wants to enter can, but they take an assessment, and the assessment tells you where in the spectrum of emerging or meets or exceeds international CX standards, where do you fit? And you'll be recognized for that. And so when we go to a city, we'll just say all of these people this is where they rank, and this is the recognition of meeting or exceeding standards. And then so the recognition will be both on merit and practice capability going forward.
That's great. I love it.
So
I love it. Well, we love working with you guys. So, and I have a blast talking to you because I feel like we can talk about sort of the here and now, and we can also project a little bit too, which I think people need to be discussing, right? And I appreciate that. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all your time. You are definitely, you're in the hot seat of pioneering the new frontier. So good luck with all that.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being part of this journey with us. We hope these conversations challenge your thinking and inspire you to explore new paths. There's so much more to discover. Keep listening, dive into more episodes, and let's continue this adventure together.